I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Nothing matters. Okay. Stay with me. Nothing actually matters. And that's why we need to stop taking ourselves way too seriously. My name is Sydney. I'm the host of You Are the Healer. And today we are going to be talking about how to stop taking life so seriously. Okay. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to be fun. And as adults, we get so caught up in everything being so serious and so important. And I'm here to tell you that actually there's very few things that are important. Cosmically, if you think about it, we are on a floating rock in space. If you think about how old the universe is over 13 billion years old. And humans, Homo sapiens, have only been here for around 300,000 years. If you think about that blip of time that we exist in, it is cosmically insignificant. And I say this to free you because a lot of times the things that we are so worried about, they won't even matter in 5 years, let alone in 5,000 years. Who knows how long the human species is going to be around? Okay, it's kind of inevitable that we will go extinct. And so I say that because if you zoom out to that cosmic perspective, nothing is really as big of a deal as you feel like it is. And I say this with love and compassion and to free you from your mind so that you can kick back and have fun and enjoy your life rather than stressing about all of the things that you think are so serious. Now, that being said, there are absolutely some things that are worth taking seriously. A lot of these things are things that are in our control. So we can do something about. So things that I think are important to take seriously. Your mental, physical, and spiritual health. These things are the foundation of your life. If you are not taking care of these and prioritizing them, nothing else truly matters because you won't be able to actually enjoy it. So things to take seriously, your sleep schedule, what you're putting into your body, how much you're moving your body, the boundaries that you're setting, your spiritual routines and practices. Those are all important and worth prioritizing and taking seriously. Because at the end of the day, your health is the foundation of your life. It is one of the most important things that you can invest in. Other things to take seriously, your character, your moral compass, how you act when nobody's around, how you treat other people. Again, this is in your control. And other things to take seriously, your commitments and responsibilities. So this is paying your bills on time. This is following through with major commitments or promises that you've made. This is your professional duties, showing up for work, letting yourself be accountable and responsible. Those are important. And pretty much everything else is not a big deal. Aside from your health, your character, and your responsibilities, everything else is not as serious as it feels. Now, I'm going to teach you how to stop taking things so seriously, some practices that have helped me and have helped some of my clients, and watch through to the end because I'm going to give you a perspective shift on what taking things too seriously is really about. So the first thing we're going to do when it comes to how to stop taking yourself and your life so seriously is we're going to get some perspective. Perspective is a crucial component to not take yourself seriously. So how are we going to do that? So first of all, I want to remind you that not everything is about you. And I say all of this coming from such a loving place. As humans, we like to think that things are personally about us because we are our own main character. We see everything through our lens and our life and how it relates to us. But I can promise you, nobody is thinking about you as much as you are thinking about you. Let's take an example. You get laid off from your job, okay? Arguably, I think a lot of people would find that very serious. And you might be taking it personally. You might be like, oh my gosh, there's something that I did. Like, I need to be more professional. Maybe this mistake I did, yada, yada. You go down the rabbit hole of what did I do wrong to get laid off? A perspective shift could be the company's a business. They needed to cut costs, and you were one of the costs. It is not personal. It is literally a business decision that they made to save money. It has nothing to do with you. Changing your perspective to thinking that not everything is about you takes repetition. So you're going to practice over and over, being open to the idea that there might be other explanations to things. Let's say you wave at someone and they don't wave back at you. It's not because they hate you. It might be because they were distracted and they were daydreaming. It might be because they had a terrible day and they don't feel like being social. It likely does not have to do with you. So the next time that you're spiraling, you're worrying, you're taking something way too seriously, I want you to ask yourself, is there an explanation to this that has nothing to do with me? The next thing we're going to do, this is my favorite visualization, is you're going to zoom out. Okay. This is my favorite practice when I am in my own problems and I'm like, this is the end of the world. You're going to zoom out. You're literally going to close your eyes and you are going to picture like a zooming camera, just zooming out on your life over your head, a bird's eye view. You're going to picture your house, your space, your neighborhood, your city, your state, the world, and you're going to zoom out. And that visualization for me really helps gain perspective because I'm like, oh my God, I'm worrying about this thing that 2 blocks away no one has any idea about, and it doesn't matter to anybody else. Something else I found very helpful when it comes to worrying and taking things way too seriously is the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And in this book, he really says some different perspectives than how I feel like humans are conditioned. Let me explain. He asks in this book, do you have problems right now? In this moment, where your feet are, looking around you, do you have problems? Are you in danger? And most of the time the answer is no. But the reframe in this book is, if you don't have problems right now, you might have problems in 5 minutes. That is your problem to deal with in 5 minutes or 5 years from now. But right now, in this moment, there are no problems. And the last thing I want you to do to gain some perspective is to make a list of a bad and serious thing that happened and then something good that came out of it. And this will allow you to see that when you are in the thick of something serious, of something bad, there is always typically something that comes out of it. There's something you can learn and grow. And there might even be some type of silver lining in this bad situation. And whenever I say things like this, I always encourage you to take it with a grain of salt, because I can be very, very positively optimistic. And that is not to negate the struggle and the severity of life. And at the same time, what you pay attention to grows. So if you sit there and you pay attention to your suffering and all of the bad things and you're like fixated on it, you're going to see more of that. And our thoughts, I truly believe, create our reality. And if your thought is, when something bad happens, something good must follow. To me, that is like the nature of the universe. When that is your belief, you're going to look for those positive things. You're going to focus on those positive things, and the bad won't weigh you down as much. And you will ultimately be more resilient and able to bounce back from hard things, because life is going to be hard. Hard things are going to happen. It's up to you how you handle them. Some things that I have on this list of mine is my really intense breakup that was about 4 years ago. At the time, literally felt like my world was ending. And I was like, there is no good that can come from this. I literally created You Are the Healer while I was going through that breakup. And that is an abundant amount of good that came from something that was really hard and really difficult. Another example is my phone broke because I was trying to take pictures in a hot tub. It got water damage. My phone broke. I was without a phone for 2 weeks. And honestly, that was such a good thing. I feel like in the moment that could be something that people find very stressful, but I was so relieved to be off my phone. It was definitely challenging to figure out how to get places without like any navigation, but ultimately it allowed me to be way more present when my family was visiting. It allowed me to be grounded and in the moment and way less distracted. And so something that a lot of people would view as negative or stressful, it honestly truly was a gift. And so creating this list will help you change your perspective that when hard things happen, when stressful things happen, there's likely something good and beneficial that comes out of it too. It's all about what you pay attention to. The next aspect of how to stop taking life so seriously is to play. I think adults are the ones that take life way too seriously, and it's no coincidence that adults never have playtime. So incorporating some type of play that you enjoy. This could be going to an improv class. This could be doing a cartwheel outside, hula hooping, flowing, swimming, camping, whatever you like to do simply for fun and for play. The possibilities are really endless, but as an adult, we need to find times to play. I have a whole other episode on the importance of play and why it's so beneficial to our mental health. Another huge component of this is adding humor to your life. Okay, I always say this, the universe has a sense of humor. The universe has a sense of humor, and we're supposed to laugh and enjoy and have fun in life. And a big way to do that, to take back our authority and our power, is to create humor from a situation. I always joke that my trauma made me funny. And I say that because I went through some very hard things, and I took my autonomy back by creating light and levity of the situation, by being able to make jokes about it and laugh about something that ultimately was pretty serious, because otherwise it's just going to be serious and bad. And I might as well make it something that can be funny and joking and bring some lightheartedness to it. I get a lot of patients at work. I'm a pediatric psych nurse, and I get a lot of patients at work that make jokes about a lot of really dark stuff. And a lot of times they tell me, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I probably shouldn't be joking about stuff like that. And I literally say, unless you are completely downplaying and minimizing your experience, I think humor is a vital coping skill. For example, this last week, I was driving to work, I was running late, and I was crying because I'm navigating a lot of grief in my life right now. So I was already in a very bad mood, and I was just tunnel vision locked into my life is just full of problems. And I was taking my life very seriously, my problems very seriously, because I was feeling some type of way. And as I'm stewing in my negativity and my terrible thoughts, a rock hits my windshield and my windshield chips. And I just started dying laughing, because that rock hitting my windshield completely snapped me out of my like tunnel vision misery. And while with a different perspective, that could have added fuel to the fire. I could have been like, of course, now I have to fix this and everything's terrible and blah, blah, blah. But that rock hitting my windshield literally snapped me out of it. And it was funny to me because I'm like, of course a rock is going to hit my windshield right now when I'm already having all of this stuff. And I started laughing because I'm like, ultimately, like, this doesn't matter. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking that my problems are like the size of the universe when cosmically they are so insignificant. And I don't say this to invalidate myself or to invalidate any of your experiences. But if you zoom out, if you think about how big and old the universe is, it's kind of funny what we stress out about. And humor can be a great way to take the edge or the sting out of something really intense and negative. The last piece of stopping taking your life and yourself so seriously is acceptance. And this is the thing that taking your life seriously is trying to do. You're trying to gain a sense of control in a life where you don't have a lot of control. Things we can control are our character, our actions, our reactions, and how we show up. There are so many things outside of our control. And a lot of times adults will take things so seriously because we want to get a semblance of control on something so we're not so anxious. That is what taking yourself so seriously is doing for you. It's saying, if I really focus in on this, if I really worry and worry and worry, then I'll know what to expect. And that's why the last part of this is acceptance, because the nature of life is change. The nature of becoming who you are is change. No one is a stagnant human being. And so the last step in how to stop taking life so seriously is to accept yourself, and the nature of life is change. We are all figuring it out as we go. We are all still writing our own story, and that is okay. Nobody needs to be perfect. You can change your mind. I'm going to say it again. You can change your mind. Just because you were a super successful corporate person for a certain amount of years doesn't mean you can't pivot and go work at a coffee shop. Doesn't mean you can't go pivot and start making music. Okay? Nothing is that serious. You're allowed to change your mind. And when you start to accept yourself, you'll realize that things aren't as big of a deal as they seem to be, because it's okay to change and move. And if you think about it, you've figured it out this far. All of the hard things that you've been through, all of the challenges, the changes, the obstacles that life has thrown at you, you are still here and you are still figuring it out. So trust yourself that you will be able to figure it out again. Even when life throws you a storm, even when you lose your job, you lose your friends, you have to figure it out on the fly, you will. Trust yourself that you will. And I'm going to end with this super corny quote, but it's from 17 again. And I say this at work to the teenagers I work with all of the time. When you're young, everything feels like the end of the world, but it's not. It's actually just the beginning. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of You Are the Healer. I hope this helped. Please share this episode with someone that you think might benefit from it. Please like, comment, and subscribe so more people can find the messages that they need. I love you so, so, so much. I hope you stop taking yourself and your life so seriously and you start enjoying it. And until next time, may you be well.